Hi there, it's Sarah from Inspire Tarot. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. Let's see what message Spirit has for us. The first card out is the Magician. So essentially we're all the Magician. The Magician comes after the Fool in the Major Arcana. It's actually the first card, so I shouldn't say after the Fool. The Fool is the floating character, but the Magician is a role that we play. This is the role when we become the alchemist and we're able to balance the heart and the mind and our desires with the physical domain, the physical world, in order to create things to support humanity and to bring peace and understanding to the world. So the Magician is a powerful card that we can use for selfish reasons, or we can use for following our divine purpose. And we know that when we follow our purpose, when we do God's will, that's what makes us happiest. So yeah, we focus on collaborating, we focus on loving people, we focus on understanding the way the laws of the universe work, and then putting all that into action through forgiveness. So it looks very much as though this chap on this picture is mastering the physical domain, but this is all done not by the hands, it's done at the mind level, but is represented materially or physically, because that's the way the physical universe is manifest. So yeah, this is a good card to show us that we have the power, and that we're completely in charge, and that we also have divine guidance within us to guide us at all times. So we're essentially a receptacle for the divine to come through into the world, and it's our responsibility to carry out that role for the Creator. And the more we do it in line with the Creator and what the Creator wants, the happier we feel, and the more things come back to us, and then we can share more and more. So it's just we can see the infinity symbol on this person's hat, hood, and it just shows that we reap what we sow, and the energy transforms. It can't be destroyed. The next card out is the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is all about being independent, being very stable, very fulfilled internally. When we've found inner peace and prosperity, we're very confident, tend to feel very congruent, very internally validating. And then we can radiate this joy because we know our inherent worth, and we realize ourselves. We can see by the lady in this picture that she just looks very happy and relaxed, and she has all these pentacles around her. So she's managed to materialize lots of things in the physical world to support her journey and her life and giving back. She loves animals. I think it's I don't know if it's an owl, but the owl signifies wisdom and balance in the dark. Owls are quite comfortable in the dark. So the Nine of Pentacles card shows us that, yeah, that we're just very evolved, and that we're happy, and we feel comfortable in the material world, even though we know we're not strictly speaking from it. We're just in the world but not of it, but we feel very comfortable and happy there. The Three of Pentacles is a card about collaborating. This is often what makes us happy and brings us the fulfillment when we collaborate with others. So the Three of Pentacles card is all about collaborating in a very balanced and equal way, where we communicate beautifully together. These people working together as a team, they just look very relaxed, as if they're having fun, and they all have different roles. He's holding up the tapestry, not tapestry, I don't know what you'd call it. The other person is weaving, and the other person is kind of just stood back and looking. So yeah, they all play important roles, but the most important thing is that they're they're working together as a team, and that they're communicating well, and they all act as equals, which is important. That's what we're aiming for, because we are all equal. And when we understand that we are love, and then we all come from that same place, then we're all kind of at our happiest. We don't feel like anyone is ahead or anyone's behind. The next card out is the Four of Swords. So for some of us, as we're integrating on the spiritual journey, working together, collaborating people will flush up things that we need to look at. When we collaborate with other people, we notice all the judgments and attack thoughts in the mind, and then that will bring us things to look at. So collaborating flushes things up. Our limiting beliefs about ourselves, if we don't feel, it's almost like the Three of Pentacles card, out of balance, where we don't feel seen, or we don't feel equal, or we don't feel fulfilled. Then the Four of Swords card is very much about, you can see the lady in this card, she has the red string of love and a little heart, and she's kind of being cradled in a nest. So this is all about resting the mind, and integrating. And the healing does happen in a way that we're often not aware of. The spirit manages to do the healing because it's unconscious, and sometimes we've just got to let it happen, and we don't usually know when it's happening. In fact, it usually is happening when we're in these periods of rest, when we kind of withdraw into ourselves a little bit and give ourselves the time to integrate. And the next card out is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands card is very free-spirited, very youthful. So this can often happen when we come out of a Four of Swords. We start to feel excited again, ready to embrace life, full of new ideas. We've integrated whatever we needed to integrate from the Three of Pentacles card, and the Page of Wands is where we're just feeling passionate and curious and ready for our next dropped a card, ready for our next thing, the next project spirit brings in for us to work on, to train our mind. You can see the Page of Wands is very exuberant and enthusiastic, but I also like the circle and the wand in the air, which is just very free-spirited and creative. So this is what the Page of Wands brings us. The Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man card can mean that when we've got some new ideas, that we may need to take a pause and surrender, and look at them with the spirit, release control, and just surrender to the flow of what's happening. So the Hanged Man card is very much about slowing down, about seeing things from a different perspective, reassessing and letting go of our ego ideals. So the spirit will use our ego excitement to propel us forward, but then keep us on track, because the ego mind will want to go off into doing something glamorous that makes us look good, whereas the spirit is reversing that process and doing something that fulfills us internally, because the spirit knows that what makes us happy is moving back towards unity and back towards the unified mind, not into further fragmentation and further making the small self puffed up, which is what we're kind of culturally programmed to go for. So the spirit is always guiding us with our projects. The next card out is the Nine of Cups. And this is what brings us fulfillment, and this is what happens with the Nine of Cups. When we follow the spirit, what the spirit wants for us, this is what we end up with. We end up with this joy. The Nine of Cups, we can see in this card that the woman is like, it's as if she's found the treasure. And this is what happens when we listen to the Spirit and we collaborate and we follow our desires. Everything just turns out beautifully. And the Nine of Cups is a very rewarding card emotionally. It's like the wish fulfillment card. The next card out is the King of Swords. So the King of Swords has mastery over the mind, which is important on our spiritual journey because we know that the mind is the activating agent of spirit. The mental capacity is essentially what God created. So God created the capacity to feel happy and to extend, and essentially that's it. And that sounds like it's really boring, but actually that's all we ever really need. And I know I always thought if I was God that's all I would create. I would just create the feeling of bliss and happiness and have it extend and expand forever. There's no need for a physical world or for us to do a certain thing to attain that feeling or to have a setup where we lose that feeling. It doesn't make any sense that God would create that. So the King of Swords is kind of mastery of the mind. But it doesn't take into account the emotional aspects of life, and I do feel as if we need to take into account both. But the King of Swords is just wise, is very focused on the truth, is usually very impartial, and is very honest. It can be a little bit cutting sometimes, so we do need to learn to be diplomatic in the King of Swords energy. But yeah, the King of Swords is usually very uncompromising, very respected, very discerning, very determined on the spiritual path and very stable. Very good at communicating as well, and firmly believes in justice. So yeah, this is all about being kind of right-minded, staying in true empathy and speaking our truth. The next card out is the Three of Swords. I think this is one of the cards that when it first came out I would kind of cringe because it seems difficult. It looks like a painful card, and the Three of Swords card can be very much about heartbreak or a painful end. But we have to remember that when we feel this heartbreak and painful ends, it's because we feel as though the form is real and true, and that our interpretations of what are happening to us are accurate, which they're not. We know that any situation that doesn't feel good is not accurate. We're not understanding. We're kind of disconnected from our divine nature, and that's why we don't feel good. So the Three of Swords card is also associated with shadow work, which we can be doing at any time on the spiritual path. It doesn't necessarily have to align with something uncomfortable that's happened. But yeah, we do have to feel our feelings, and the young lady in this picture doesn't look very happy about feeling her feelings, but she is releasing them. She's kind of letting them go, which is what we need to do, because trapped emotion is not healthy for us on our spiritual path. And if it seems as though someone's betrayed us or something negative has happened, then we need to look at ourselves, because we're always the cause of everything that happens to us. So even though it's a painful and uncomfortable aspect of the journey, it's important to embrace the darkness and just stay on track, because we can do it. We've got the Spirit of God within us. And the next card out is the Eight of Wands, which is a card of rapid movement in the right direction. And this is a good card to come after the Three of Swords, because the Three of Swords is very much a card where we feel like everything's fallen apart and everything's going wrong, but we don't always realise that it's in these dark and difficult moments that we're actually doing our best work. We're kind of cracking open, the heart is cracking open, the mind is cracking open. Everything that's difficult is being exposed. The light that we've prayed for is pushing the darkness up and out. and we've got to go through it. And the Eight of Wands shows that you can see in this card that we're kind of pointed towards the light. So the Eight of Wands means that we're moving fast towards the light, and this often is what happens after we've been through a dark spell. We seem to lift up, and we regain our strength. So yeah, beautiful card. Cards are all beautiful in their own way. The Star is a card of healing, of hope. So it makes sense that this card, normally this card comes after the Tower in the sequence, but it makes sense that the Star card would come out just to remind us that we are permanently connected to heaven. Is the lady's kind of got this, she's on her knees, she's very surrendered, and she's trusting, she's open to the divine. And that's what the Star is about. It shows us that we're in our purpose, that we're really focused on leveling up and purifying the mind. It's as if there's no worldly goal that will satisfy us, and that we have to go for the biggest thing that there is, which is the awakening. That's the only thing that's really worthy of a son of God, is to wake up and remember his true nature. The King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles is a card about just having mastery over the physical domain. And we can only have mastery over the physical domain when we have mastery over the mind, because the mind creates the physical. So this chap in this image looks very relaxed, very laid back, very comfortable with his pentacles, very happy with his dog. Yeah, so the King of Pentacles is usually very wise, very resourceful, very self-sufficient, and a powerful leader, somebody who can use the resources and the funds they has to give back, to use for a non-profit, or just to advance humanity in some way. And we know that all things work together for good, and sometimes our human mind doesn't understand how things are helpful, but the spirit can see how everything's helpful, because anything that involves people working together, or anything that creates systems or products that are helpful for people to live comfortably in the world, is a worthwhile task. So yeah, the King of Pentacles is an important character. The Four of Cups is when we feel dissatisfied and apathetic, which often happens to us on our spiritual journey when we're growing, because we'll be given something, and it's usually when we're given something material. You know, we see something with whatever we have an interest in, and we want it, and it's new and shiny, and then when we've acquired it, we're excited for a time, and then it loses its shine, which is always to remind us that salvation doesn't come in the form, and that we need to return our mind back to God, to thinking with him in a unified state of mind, which is all about forgiving. So in this card, the lady's ignoring the cups that she's got. She's bored with them, and she's completely oblivious to the fact that someone's giving her a new cup with a rainbow pouring out of it. She's completely closed off to it. And this is something that we go through. It's an endless process. As we go through the cards, we go round and round from 1 to 10. We spiral up and we start again. And each time we get a little bit stronger. So yeah, when we get this card, it's really to remind ourselves to be grateful for what we've got, and to look at our resources, because we can be perfectly happy with nothing. Careful pause. Yeah, it's just about how we focus. I think I've mentioned before in one of my readings that you can be completely happy and feel fulfilled with absolutely nothing, or you can have absolutely everything and still feel fulfilled. There's celebrities who've said this, you know, that I wish everybody could get everything, and then they could see that it's not good enough and it won't fulfill us, because we're worthy of more, because of our divine nature. What we search for is unity and wholeness, and that's the only thing that's going to make us happy, and God knows that. All right, let's have one last card, please, Spirit. Have that one. The Hierophant. So the Hierophant is a card about being wise counsel. I kind of think of this card as somebody who's very much on their spiritual path and is refining their spiritual views. Somebody who's very focused on their purpose and can give back and support others. And somebody who understands the process of self-inquiry. And always looking at oneself, because the spiritual journey takes a lot of work to constantly monitor when we fall back into the ego mind, which does happen constantly. It's I don't want to say it's an endless battle, but it's something that we just need to be mindful of, and it's a privilege of the forgiven to forgive, as it says in A Course in Miracles. So yeah, the chap in this card looks very happy on his stairway back to heaven. It's like he's got the cheat codes and he knows what to do, and he's just putting the work in place. And we can be grateful of that. It's a wonderful journey, and the more we do the work, the happier we feel. Yes, we go through ebb and flow, and it feels difficult, and it feels hard, and we want to give up, but we don't really want to give up, because once we're on our spiritual path, we can't really go back, because we know there's nothing to go back to. The world is an illusion. There's nothing in the world that can satisfy us other than seeing it through the eyes of forgiveness. So we can't go back. We're being directed by the light back to the light. So it's a beautiful journey. Okay, that's my reading for today. I love you all. Bye.